first of all, thanks for showing up today. We were a little bit worried 5 minutes ago when it was practically empty, so we do realise this is the slot of death. I hear Club M was great last night, so we appreciate everybody's efforts in making it in this morning. So what we're going to talk about today is we're going to talk about making the most of emerging markets. We realise that we've got a bit of a mixed audience here between affiliates and B2B providers and things like that, so we've got a little bit for everybody. So we'll talk about emerging markets, we're going to talk about opportunities, and we've got a few other things kind of to wrap up things at the end. So first thing we're going to talk about, actually before I start, let's get a quick show of hands of who's an affiliate. Okay, so we've got a couple. Operators. And then what do the rest do? So there's a couple of hands that didn't go up. There's some others here. We payment providers or software providers or just some agencies? That's the other one, okay. So for the affiliates, who's sports betting? One, sports betting. Two, oh, okay. Casino? No, oh, you do everything. Alright, you're just showing off. You're just showing off. Bingo or poker? Bingo? Poker? Alright, cool. Alright, great. So, just helps things a little bit. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to do a... Come on in, you're late, you're alright. Be worried sick about you. Come on, Ari. Okay, so what we're going to do is, first of all, we're going to talk a little bit about Denmark. So as you guys all know, legislation changed in Denmark quite recently, which allowed online gambling operators. So we'll talk a little bit about that. We'll also talk about kind of the Google experience in Denmark in terms of what happened when Google allowed gambling ads to start. And then Neil's going to kind of take it from there then in terms of what he saw doing all the hard work, which is basically the way it breaks down here. So the first thing to take, we've got just a little bit of an overview of the Danish market in terms of percentage of the population that gambles online. And it's very, very clear that per capita wise, Danish people like gambling. Now before I go any further, are there any Danes in the room? Okay. So the question is why? Why are Danish people gambling more than, say, people in the UK, where it's been very well established for a very long time? There's a couple of different theories. One is that the weather. So it could be just a case of long dark nights, it's something to do, it's a little bit of fun. My money though is actually on the Vikings. So obviously Denmark's had a long association with the Vikings, and part of their culture is gambling. A little known fact, well, not a little known fact, one of the interesting facts about Denmark is that the King of Denmark won the Faroe Islands from the King of Sweden in the card game. So to me that just kind of symbolises, actually it's just part of their culture, it's just what they do, they like to gamble, there's that kind of Viking spirit. When we then just look at a little bit of a breakdown then in terms of demographics of who's gambling online, we can see as well it's actually a pretty even split. So in terms of age ranges, there's very little differences. In terms of gender as well, there's very, very little differences. So between the 25 to the 44 age range, about 50% of people are gambling online. So that's quite a big age range. When we look at kind of countries like the UK and stuff, it's definitely more skewed towards the younger age groups. So what we've got now is... Okay, so what we're going to do now is just a quick snapshot of what the market actually looks like in terms of volumes and what's going on there. So as you'd expect, Lotto's huge. It's the exact same kind of thing we see in the UK. People like to, big jackpots, it's very accessible and very, very normal thing to do. Then we've got sports betting in general. It's the second most popular activity, which again kind of mirrors what we'd say see in the UK or see in Ireland here. Casino, poker, and then bingo. Now we've been trying to figure out what causes the spikes in bingo. We think it's got something to do with TV campaigns from some of the state operators or something like that, but we're not 100% sure of that. I'm not that close to the marketplace. So, but this really kind of mirrors what we see in the UK. When we look at growth, so this is just looking at all gambling related queries in Denmark, growth's pretty good, 173%. It's the kind of thing you'd like to see. And we see that across all markets, so everybody's growing. Some faster than others. When we just look at sports betting, year on year, so just looking at the last year, we're looking at 42% increase year on year. We would imagine this to grow even more now that we've got more operators in the marketplace. You'd expect more advertising to happen, more awareness, more association with sports. So we'd actually expect to see this when we look at 2012 to be even bigger again. For casino, exact same thing. A lot of growth, 37%. It's not shabby. Poker is the only negative story, but this is going to be taken in context. So year-on-year growth of poker is about 2%. This is predominantly driven by the Peter Eastgate effect. So Peter Eastgate is half Danish, I think, and when he won, it was a bit like when Chris Moneymaker won in the US. It really kind of kicked off online poker in Denmark. So they had, a couple of years ago, they would have had a really, really big spike. So these numbers, population-wise, are actually coming from a very, very high base. So online poker in Denmark is really big. Mobile. So exact same thing we're seeing everywhere else. Obviously, mobile's massive. It's growing rapidly. Smartphone penetration rates are huge. Really, really aggressive. 340% year-on-year growth. So one of the big takeaways from this is, apart from the industry as a whole is growing, it's really, really look at mobile. A lot of opportunities there. And I'd really be thinking about your mobile strategy. Kind of, does your website work, particularly for the affiliates, does your website work across all different platforms? And really kind of thinking about kind of device strategies. So that's the market in a nutshell. What we're going to look at now is really kind of looking at the before and after of no gambling ads allowed on Google, gambling ads allowed on Google. And as you can imagine, that actually tells a pretty similar story. I'll show you now. So what we've got here is, on the left axis we've got query volumes, which is the grey area. The blue line is CPCs. So as you can see, we've kind of tried to mark out where people started advertising. It's a pretty big jump. So it's pretty much immediate, kind of day one, people are advertising, CPCs jump up. The reason for this is a couple of things. One is, if you look at the large number of licenses that were issued, a lot of the licenses that were issued were to operators who operate in different jurisdictions. So they operate in France, they operate in Italy, they operate in the UK. So they bring a lot of existing PPC or kind of industry knowledge with them. So they can start straight away and take those learnings with them. When we look at all of the other verticals, so be it, actually, sorry, the other thing interesting about sports betting is how low the CPCs are in general. Now, this is a very general query bucket, so it's a little bit skewed downwards. When we start looking at the other verticals, you really start seeing that the CPCs are a lot higher. And so that's basically it. So really what we see is that this mirrors exactly what we'd have seen in the UK back in 2008. Gambling ads start, CPCs ramp up very, very quickly. People get to a very comfortable position in terms of performance, and things kind of carry on from there. We saw the same in Denmark, and we'd expect to see the same kind of behaviour in any other markets that open up in the future. So now, I'm going to hand you over to Neil.
Thank you very much. So okay, from actually launching in these markets, and I think it's certainly case in point that Vincent's kind of giving you an overview as to the market as itself. There's four kind of key areas that we look at from launching campaigns. Is actually understand the market, so be close to your Google representative if you've got one, as me and Vincent are. Certainly that enables you to, when you are launching in those markets, just get a bit of a feel for exactly what the cost per click is going to be, and forecast accordingly as to what you can expect from the market itself. And also account structure, so best practice guidelines. I mean, you guys are experts in running paid search campaigns and SEO, etc. But account structure itself, is getting used to the nuances within those different markets as well, and the language aspect, the content on your site, and making sure that it's structured correctly. The thing about using native speakers, again, there's nuances with the language, and making sure that you're not just using Google Translate to actually translate your site. Just don't do it. Make sure you're using native speakers to actually create those campaigns as well now. Go on to a couple of details about the market itself from kind of Danish people. I mean, 86% of the Danish population actually have English as their second language. So it's realising that, certainly from our perspective, as to the actual volume of searches that come from English-related terms is huge. And one thing we're going to take you on to later on is, how do affiliates enter this market and how do operators enter the market, but also test and innovate to actually improve things as they're going through. So I'm going to look at Denmark specifically, but I've got a little bit of detail about Spain. Obviously, it's coming forth on June the 1st. Obviously, the license is meant to be issued. Has anyone here applied for a license in Spain from the operator side? No? They're not saying. Cool. Yeah, we got to pull it back. So, I mean, it's just to give you a bit of an idea. It's quite some generic stuff at the end about the Spanish market, which you're probably already aware of. But just to say, we've obviously launched a couple of campaigns within the Danish market. We wanted to just give a bit of a. We know you guys love stats, so hopefully it's going to be useful from our perspective. Now, across Sportsbook, 200,000 impressions in 1 month for April. Obviously, April, it's seen a couple of months now since the campaign launched, etc. But 200,000 Sportsbook impressions across mobile and desktop. It's quite an impressive volume of searches just on the sportsbook area. I mean, obviously, for instance, spoken about casino, poker, bingo, etc. Certainly really useful. One big thing, I mean, it's apparent within the UK market is that mobile search is so important, and certainly it's an opportunity to gather cheap clicks, cheap traffic. If you've got the optimised mobile site, it's going to work more effectively. I mean, it's 45% cheaper on the mobile from a CPC perspective, so certainly worth doing. Now, from a native language aspect, I mean, spill is kind of the biggest term. It's kind of their abbreviation of what bet is. It was the closest thing to what the term bet is within the market. And CPCs at the moment, from a sportsbook perspective, kind of vary between £3 and £5 for some of the key generic terms. Certainly from the big, I spoke about the native language aspect. The actual bet and odds terms in English kind of terminology are actually bigger than the native language terms, which is it's kind of one of those kind of interesting perceptions that it might be slightly different for Spanish. I mean, the Spanish language aspect is going to be more significant, but certainly from a UK perspective, is actually make sure that within your campaigns you've got UK specific terms and using UK specific creative. And you've also got the language specific, and it's written by native speakers, so it kind of deals with both sides, and split those out so that you can target and test them accordingly. So account structure from a foundation perspective is to follow Google best practice. I mean, it's something that we are obviously tested on from Google's perspective. They look into kind of our accounts and make sure that we're following best practice, because they're speaking to you guys, bookmakers, and obviously speaking to the affiliates as well. So we need to make sure that we're following best practice. So how do we do this from a structure perspective? I'll give an example of a sportsbook there as to kind of how we split it out. So you've got your kind of MCC that you're managing your campaigns from, and then you split that out into the various products. And then in the campaign specific, we look at the top terms, we look at kind of specific sports and inventory. And it's all based on demand, etc., and making sure that the top terms do have their own creative and their own landing pages, etc., that are obviously relevant to those searches. So you're more likely to get a high click-through rate, but also you're more likely to get a good quality score from Google and a pat on the back that your campaign is going to run effectively. Thank you. Certainly from the native aspect, I mean, spill. Don't ask me to pronounce some of the terminology, I'll leave that to some of our Danish experts. But sports specific as well, I mean, make sure you understand the market and what's big within that market. Certainly from Danish, handball is huge. It's a huge sport for them over there. So make sure you've got sports and events and team specific terms within your account, so you can build up that kind of inventory quite quickly. But also golf's quite big over there, football's huge. And casino is, it's a massive market over there. I'm really touching on sports, but to start with, but casino is such a huge market over there, and it's a great opportunity to get cheap inventory when you get in there soon. And certainly from a testing perspective and a refining, make sure you're testing your landing pages, make sure you're using the tools like Google Website Optimizer to test those pages, and make sure you're improving your conversion persistently, and obviously looking at creative messaging, testing things as to understanding what's big within that market, what's growing in the market. Use your search query reports to obviously gain that kind of value and that understanding as to how you can grow your campaign and improve it accordingly. Now, we kind of have a discussion, and it's certainly something that's developed in our business, is to utilising native speakers, and it's not just a case of translation. It's a kind of getting those people that are native to those countries, that understand the nuances that are associated with those markets, and understand how to kind of turn their site and their content on their sites that's going to be useful for the user. The user is obviously perceived that if they see poor content that's been written really by non-native speakers or using Google Translate, they will exit your site and they will leave your site. Certainly from our perspective is to making sure that you're working with a business that kind of improves that content and constantly change it and make sure it's relevant. Certainly from a trends perspective as well, there's trends within the market. As I mentioned, the Danish market, English terms are huge within that market, so make sure your site is obviously apparent to a mix of users, that you've got the native language, it's written correctly, but you've also kind of got that target that if they are wanting to invest in your site and they've got the kind of English language in there as well, so if they're already searching on those terms, you've got the site in English as well. And again, a key message is about testing and trialing, so keep changing your creative, keep changing your landing pages to make sure you're getting the best out of your conversions. So some of the things that we've noted within kind of a case study, if you like, as to launching that market. I mean, we did forecasts and we've exceeded expectations within the market based on the fact of using best practice, using the guidance and entering the market early. I mean, Google will tell you bid high, bid quick, bid now. Get into the market all the time. And actually, I mean, Finton's come from PokerStars, Paddy Power, so that and Google were going into it and saying, look, you've got to be top. You've got to be top to enter the market. It actually is true, and you get kind of.
I've seen the error in my ways. Yeah. I did laugh in their face.
Yeah. But it is so true, and the click-through rates are obviously apparent that if you get into the market early, you can achieve massive click-through rates. From a 9% perspective is great, and it's kind of testament to what you see on normal mobile traffic. If you're in the top 2, you're normally seeing those kind of percentage rates. We're actually seeing those on desktop as well, which is huge. We've exceeded account targets again against forecasts. I mean, I'm not going to blow too much smoke at the campaign's arse, but the thing is again about splitting out the campaigns as well, so you've got mobile, desktop, and your tablet. So make sure those campaigns are split out accordingly, and that you split out, as we've done with the campaign structure, accordingly, and make sure the creative is obviously apparent. You can't obviously use iPhone within your creative, but you can use mobile. And it does make a difference, certainly from a click-through rate perspective. So just about why consider Spain. Certainly from it says 38% of the 44 million citizens obviously have got fixed line connections, relevant to a certain degree, but the biggest thing for us is that there's a lot of mobile penetration over there, and Vince's already shown within Denmark how huge that market is for the Danish, but even in Spain it's going to be big. They play a lot of games on their mobile. So that penetration and that association, growth revenues and things like that, which are worth billions of pounds from actual wagering, etc. But obviously in 2010 it was estimated around about 465. With the penetration and the growth that's going to come with Google allowing, obviously I think we can't really talk about that, so don't ask any questions. But they're ready, they're geared up for it to launch for when the licenses do come out. And that market's going to grow to 680 million from a profit perspective, so I think everyone wants a piece of that. So certainly from our perspective, going back to the key points is to know the market, make sure your account structure is correct, utilise mobile, desktop and tablet to split campaigns and split them out. But what we're going to take you through now, and Vince is going to give you some ideas from an innovation perspective as to things that you should be considering when you're looking at ideas to grow and improve things as you're entering these emerging markets. So I'll hand over to Vince.
Okay. So obviously, this is a big affiliate conference. We're coming in, we're doing a lot of talking about paid search and things like that. But really, we're kind of thinking, we sat down when we're kind of planning this out, and kind of think, well, actually, like there's affiliates in the audience and stuff. Maybe they're not too interested in paid search. Is there other opportunities? Are there things they should be thinking about? And it's obviously quite a tricky one, because obviously a lot of affiliates, particularly, very reliant on, say, SEO and things like that. And when you look across the market, it's a very competitive market. You know, barriers to entry are low. When you look at the successful affiliates, what is it that these successful affiliates do? Well, what a lot of them do is they build a brand. So a lot of the big affiliates, they behave like big brands, they act like big brands. So then that kind of gave us the idea, okay, well, if we're trying to recommend things to a brand, it's a company that wants to grow their brand, what would we recommend? So that's what we've done. So we've tried to treat this like you're trying to grow your brand, you're trying to obviously make money, drive more acquisition, or send more traffic to operators. And so what could we recommend for you guys to do that? One of the good things about the UK market particularly is that Google allows affiliates to use their advertising platform in the UK because that's in the legislation. For some of the other regions like France, Italy and stuff, we don't do that because the legislation doesn't allow it. But in the UK we do. So there's a couple of different things we're looking at. So the first one is the Google Display Network. So what we're looking at here is the Google Display Network from two different perspectives. One perspective is, I know Neil laughed when I said this, one perspective is actually putting Google Display ads, the GDN ads, on your website. Now, I can totally understand you probably make far more money sending traffic to an operator, but depending on your network of sites, depending on the type of traffic, depending on where you place the ads, it could still work. And the other thing is you've got to think about it doesn't have to actually be gambling ads that show up here, like the Gala Bingo one. It could actually be the type of people who visit your website. So if it's male, it's 18 to 35. Well, that type of traffic is actually valuable to somebody else as well. So if I'm an automotive manufacturer and I'm trying to sell cars, or I'm trying to sell whatever, maybe there's actually value in that traffic to somebody else that probably doesn't really convert very well for you on a particular page and things like that. But the second area to look at this is actually from using the GDN yourself to build your own brand. So within the GDN itself, you can bid on a CPC basis, you can do remarketing, you can do very, very clever targeting. It's fully transparent, so you can see exactly where your ads show up. If your ads and creative in your website isn't about gambling, but say about something like about football in general, things like that, there's no real restrictions on what you can do. So it's very, very open, very, very transparent, and it's actually a really good opportunity to build your brand. The second area is YouTube. So obviously a lot of people in here spend a lot of time worrying about SEO, but there's also the second biggest search engine, which is YouTube. So what we're thinking about here is, well actually, what could you do? And there's two kind of key things you could do. So if you see the top two videos here, these are what we call featured videos, which are promoted videos. So that means that you're bidding on a CPC basis, that somebody actually clicks on that video, goes to the channel and watches the video. It's not a very competitive space. Clicks are very, very cheap, very cheap. And as well then, if you're quick and nimble enough, you can actually take advantage of really big incidents or things that are happening. So for example, I've got the Joey Barton red card thing. Massive, massive spike in queries for that on YouTube. People are looking, what actually happened? Did he headbutt somebody? Is he in the right? Is he in the wrong? That whole kind of thing. And the other area about this as well is actually thinking about using YouTube to build your brand to build and engage your audience. So for example, Paddy Power's here. Paddy Power do a really, really good example of this on their channel. So they release time-sensitive videos very, very quickly, maybe 1, 2, possibly even 3 times a week, about what's happening in the sporting world. Funny voices, bad animations, all that kind of stuff. But it's hugely popular. If you go look at their stats, it's all publicly available. Over a 2-week period, they could get millions of views just by being timely, being topical, and being smart about how you promote it. And that to me feels, particularly from an affiliate perspective, maybe if you're another operator, maybe that doesn't quite fit with your brand, but from an affiliate, you guys should be a little bit more flexible. What is your brand? You can take advantage of these things. There's actually a huge amount of opportunity on YouTube, and it's not being taken advantage of. The third area is search. So obviously, within the UK, gambling affiliates can do paid search. Obviously, given the business model of referred traffic, net gaming revenue, commissions and stuff like that, maybe bidding on things like online casino at 30 quid a click mightn't be for you or mightn't be feasible. But is there other traffic out there that's actually relevant, more relevant? So what I'm showing here is if you type in Champions League, you're getting an enhanced search result that shows you kind of scores if the game was on. So if the Chelsea-Bayern game was on, you'd have actually seen the live scores during the game. But nobody was advertising in this. So if you were a sportsbook affiliate, one down the back, and you had free bet offers and things like that, you're watching the game, you want to stick a free bet on? Seems like an easy one. The same then if you just type in a team name. So if you type in Chelsea, Man United, Liverpool, you'll get kind of upcoming games, live scores, past results, all of these kind of enhanced results. Again, nobody actually bids on any of this. So if you time it right, so the game's about to start or it's mid-game or whatever, there's some very, very good traffic here. Very, very cheap. So again, opportunities for affiliates.
This season, 4-1 Liverpool.
I did this just for you.
I know, exactly. I appreciate that. It still
was either this or West Ham.
It still hurts.
And this also works on mobile as well. So if you've got mobile websites, you've got mobile traffic, or you want to target the mobile area, this works perfectly. And I use this all the time, particularly when you're out and you just want to see what the score is. It's much, much quicker than going to a website. So that's search. The last area then is, we touched on it briefly about the GDN, but it's remarketing. But it's remarketing in terms of real-time bidding. So what this means is, and it's kind of, again, it's thinking like a big brand. So somebody visits your website, they don't convert, so that could be they don't give you your credit card details, or they don't click on an operator's banner and go to their website. What happens then? Well, the idea is that on the website section, you put the tracking pixels across your website, you set it up properly, people visit your website, they don't convert, whatever your convert action is, and they leave your site. You put that into a cookie list. So what we're going to say is somebody's come to your website through your SEO for online casino. They didn't click any of your banner ads, they didn't actually take any of your conversion actions on your website. You've put that into a list called online casinos didn't convert. What you can do then is, you can take that list, upload that to the invite system, and start showing those people ads. So you can say, hey, you're interested in online casinos? Here's a great offer you should come back and take advantage of. And it's a very, very simple way. So what you're doing is you're not buying billions of banners, you're not buying kind of black box impressions, you're buying one impression at a time.
Is there anyone in the audience that's actually using kind of display or ad exchanges at the moment? So you kind of, some of you may be aware of kind of how display has kind of evolved from a kind of direct buying on certain sites, really expensive, moving on to networks where they marked up obviously the cost. And it's gone more search orientated, more paid search orientated. So something like Invite, obviously Microsoft have got their own version, etc. Whereby they're kind of giving this real-time bidding opportunity to make it more like, it is more like search and it's more transparent, so you can actually see the sites that you're bidding on. We certainly recommend from putting these pixels onto your site to kind of just see what is happening with that audience and then refine exactly that list of the traffic and use the list to then target those specific sites with display that can be done on a real-time basis and obviously on cost per click. You can start to really engage and make sure it is on a cost per acquisition model, and it's a lot more effective now than ever has been. And Invite is certainly a good opportunity from the remarketing, from the retargeting, but even just from the direct targeting as well. Because
what you're doing is it's the ultimate marketing, right? You're showing the right ad to the right person at the right time. And that's really why, say, search works. It's you know what they're interested in, show them the right ad. This allows you to do that on display, which is, to me, just fantastic, and all displays should be done like this. It's really the only way to do it. It's a very sweeping statement, of course, there's many other ways to do display. But you get what I mean, you get what I mean. I'm excited about it. I think that's us. Okay, so, my last topic, okay, and I'm going to let you go then. So, the final kind of opportunity area for everybody is optimization. So, one of the big things we see, and I know Neil touched on it earlier talking about Google Website Optimizer, but there's loads of tools out there. One of the big things we see that people don't do is have a system in place to optimize their traffic and optimize for conversions. So it's really thinking about your user. They visited your page from whatever acquisition source or however they found you. How have you optimized every step of that journey to get them to take your conversion action? So if it's an affiliate, it's kind of qualifying the lead you're sending to the operator. If you're an operator, it's landing page, reg form, deposit page, place a bet, and looking at every one of those steps and what you're actually doing to hold their hand, reassure them, and move them as seamlessly and quickly as possible through that entire process. And some people do it, some people do bits and pieces of it, some people do it very well, a lot of people don't do it. So one of our big, or what we see as one of the big opportunities is actually looking at this on a constant basis and really taking advantage of it. Because the thing is, you increase your conversion rate by 1%, you lower your CPA by 1%. So it's straight to the bottom line. It's a very, very binary kind of, it all makes sense. But you've got to invest in it, and you've got to do it on a continuous basis. It's not something you do a little bit of and then you forget. So we wanted to bring that to life. So apologies if Jackpot Joy are in the room, because they have the online, no, they're not here. So they've got the online rights for this. So we've created a game of optimization, red or black. So everybody's familiar with the game Red or TV show Red or Black? So Ant and Dec, that's what we got going on here. And so the idea with the game is that Ant and Dec do something crazy. Everybody's got to decide, is it red? Oh, we've got a lever. Or, oh, it's not that bad, lads. We're sorry. Come back. Gets better. There's no prizes. So everybody's got to decide if it's red or if it's black, and then if you get the right one, you go through to the next round. So we're going to do the exact same thing. So what we're going to do is we're going to show you 2 pages. So they could be kind of landing pages, we've got search forums, shopping pages, various different kind of elements. One red, one black. Everybody's got to choose which one performed best in terms of conversions, the red or the black. If you get it right, you go through to round 2. Now, the challenge for this room is, I did this at the Power 50 a couple of weeks ago, and we only got as far as round 5. It was very, very desperate towards the end. It was a massive culling very, very quickly. So this audience, I'm expecting to be a bit more sophisticated and to get further. If not, it's looking bad for the affiliates. All right. So what we're going to do is, I'm going to show you 2 pages. Now, a little bit difficult to do this. We're going to do the honor system here, okay? Because obviously you can cheat. So if you think it's red, you put up your right hand. If you think it's black, you put up your left hand. We need everybody to stand up, because otherwise we don't know who's got through. Okay? So everybody's up.
Guys.
Come on.
Here we go.
Think of the hangovers. Come on. You're loving it. Okay, so what have we got first? Alright. First one's an easy one. Alright, so I'm going to show you 2 images, one red, one black. So your right hand for red, left hand for black. So right hand, left hand. Okay, landing page, selling wardrobes. Version red, black, red, black, red, black. Choose now.
Right is red.
Right is red, left is black. Alright, okay. Alright, everybody's chosen it. There's a couple of cheating down the back. We're watching you. Up higher, I want to say, yeah, you. I want to say that. I know what Betfair is like. I know what you like. The winner was red. So it's a 439% increase in bookings. The main reason being, during the testing, that there was too much reliance on the video. On the other page, it really relied on the video to get across all the benefits and kind of why you should do this. This was very, very clear, very kind of clear text, what you should do next. Right, round 2. These are 2 ads that appeared on the 2 ad formats that appeared on the Telegraph website. Which ad format got the most clicks? Okay? So, version red or black? Red or black? Red or black? So which one got most clicks? Okay, choose now. So right hand is red, left hand is black. Ready? Okay. Red won. Now, the Telegraph didn't release the results, but it was a significant uplift. The main reason being that it was actually the bigger ad won. It's kind of obvious marketing, right? Bigger ads get more clicks. Right, next we have, okay, this is a really interesting one. This is a search box on the Dell website. So they have 2 versions of their search box. Which version generated more sales? So red or black? Red, black, red, black. Choose now. Alright, okay, right. Red. So red performed, increased its sales 6.3%. The main reason being that it didn't rely on icons. It actually said what the button did. Makes perfect sense. It's a magnifying glass. To a lot of people who are tech savvy, of course that means search. To my mum, that means make things bigger. So it's really kind of thinking about usability, making things very, very clear, really making people think about the next step.
Doing quite well.
They're holding up. But by this stage, we were down to like 4 people. And one of them was like an online marketing guy. Now, I know you've seen all these, so you're not ready. You're automatically discounted, right?
You're out.
It's just the memories I
There's no pride anyway. There's a bottle of water.
There's fine. Right, tasers. Right, we've got a website selling tasers. Which page sold more tasers? This page or this page? Red or black? So black or red? Red or black? Red, black. Choose now. Right, we're getting close. We're getting close. This is going to be a big call. Right, you ready? The red page sold more tasers. Oh, controversial.
I think we've got a winner already.
Have we got a winner already?
Round 4?
Around that was no, we got two. We've got two.
Oh, cool.
Oh, can we go past round 5? This can be interesting. Now, this is a really interesting psychological one. So you'll actually see this on a lot of the major e-commerce websites. So what they'll do is they'll put other products on the right-hand side. Now, for this time, generally, okay, this one, the products on the right are cheaper to what's on the main page. Usually, they're more expensive. So usually, it's kind of creating an anchoring technique of, oh my god, an £800 taser, that's ridiculous. I'm only going to spend $500. We think in this version it was because that doesn't look like a taser. This looks like a taser. I think it was just that kind of, Clint Eastwood kind of thing going on. Right, next one we have is. Software download. Now, this should be an easy one for the gambling industry. Right, red or black? Red or black? Red, black. So left is red, right is black. Right, so we've got a 50-50 decision here.
Right, red.
Right is red.
Right is red.
Yeah, left is black, sorry. Right, so we've got a 50-50 decision here. It's all going to be over pretty quickly. Black was the winner.
Looks like your bottle of water.
The reason black was the winner is it was a much, much simpler page. So what they did was they stripped out the top navigation area. They really focused the user on what to do next. Very, very simple stuff. Really kind of removing all the distractions, getting the customer to think about what to do next. It's very, very clear. There's no other links to click. There's only the download button to click. They cleaned up the page a little bit as well. If you want, we can keep going. Or we can do quite. Now you can sit down. You've had enough. We'll just quickly run through these. So the next one then is selling insurance. Quite a boring topic, quite a convoluted process. So we got red, we got black. Black was the winner. Black was the winner, and they simplified the page. They took a lot of the extra text and a lot of the extra kind of information out of the columns. So really just kind of simplified the page. We're starting to see the trend here. Avis, 2 booking pages for their car rentals. This was the red page, this was the black page. No surprise, black was the winner. Cleaner design, bigger buttons, much, much neater, less distraction, very, very focused on what the user wants to do. There was a 74% increase in bookings. This is an interesting one, a pop-up. So this is a Campaign Monitor, which do kind of white label email services. So this pop-up, are you a designer? Or just a standard kind of landing page? Nice landing page. The pop-up worked. Now, it was a 25% increase in sign-ups. They retested this page, they retested this pop-up with a more kind of traditional kind of, hey, sign up now, kind of really kind of salesy kind of actions. But actually this text worked. And it worked because it's more engaging. Hey, are you a designer? You betcha. It's kind of fun, it's kind of interesting, if you're a designer.
One for the geeks.
Yeah, one. Again, software download. The red page, black page. Of course, the red page won. The big clear download button that the other page didn't have. 33% increase. The last one, Dutch bank. Opening new bank accounts. Most boring, convoluted process in the world. The red page, black page. The red page won. Apparently, if you read Dutch, this is the better page. This is clearer, apparently. I've had to take their word on it. But 124% increase in new account signups, which when you think of bank accounts and how difficult that is, that's a really big deal. So I think what we're just trying to highlight is that simplifying the process, making it really easy for the user, really focusing on the next step, and there's a lot of really easy big wins you can make straight away. It's great. I'm very excited about it. So that's red or black. So congratulations to our winner down the back. We'll give you business cards or something. I don't know what we do. Good firm handshake. And that's us. Now, anybody wants to ask any questions? I'm happy to take any questions. I just have to put one caveat. I can't talk about SEO.
Yeah, don't mention penguins.
I can't mention penguins, pandas, any kind of zoo animals whatsoever. But I'm happy to talk about anything else, and so is Neil. Yeah. Neil can talk about SEO.
I can talk, yeah.
Good topic. So anybody any questions? Can talk about anything?
Okay, I think the first obvious question is, do you need a license for a taser?
Not in America.
But going on to the content you were talking about earlier, especially obviously for new markets, what's the most important things? You have to work out the nuances of each market that you enter, and what are the most important facets of content writing for each market that you enter?
Certainly from a perspective as to getting native speakers. I mean, native speakers, we've spoken about, a lot of sites kind of use Google Translate to kind of just create a different version of their site. It just doesn't work. The nuances that people, especially, we've looked at areas in France, and it doesn't matter about domains as well. So .fr, .jp for Japan, etc. People in France are very specific. I don't know if there's any French in the room, but they're very specific. Very specific about associating themselves with a .fr domain compared to going through a .co.uk, etc. And when they get through to that site, they want content that's written in their native language, that is written with obvious native speakers actually written that content. There's a lot of kind of affiliates in the room that are looking to try and get nuances at areas where they can write content quite quickly, turn it around, get it onto the site quickly. There's ways to do that, but it's going to impact on your conversion, your usability, etc. if you don't use native speakers. So use native speakers is the answer to the question.
And in doing that as well, obviously, there's a lot of, as you showed with the Danish market, there's a lot of research that goes into each single market that you enter. So for affiliates, I think interesting for affiliates because they might have the capital that an organisation would to invest in, let's say, recruitment for native speakers and that sort of thing. But how long would this process take for each individual market that you enter, and what sort of investment would you be looking at as an affiliate?
Very open question. I think there's certainly from an investment of time and resource, it is worth making sure that you're utilising all the tools. Google have got keyword estimating tools, and making sure that you're focusing on keywords like your SEO. You focus a lot of time on your SEO as doing the research into the keywords that are going to be more effective, and you invest in the areas that show performance that drives volume. Big generic terms, certainly what they do is they build up your brand, etc., and most of the bookmakers, etc., can afford to be in that market. But the affiliates have got to associate themselves with more direct, kind of long tail search terms. So utilise kind of the search tools and the keyword search tools to get an idea of where are the little opportunities, where can you focus on? Vincent's taking you through some opportunities to try and get affiliates into that market, whereas paid searches, it can be quite costly. And in the markets that obviously Google operates in, it's mostly the bookmakers that get the license. The affiliates obviously have to wait until the Google allow affiliates into that market as well as they have done in the UK. So it is about spending time. So we normally say the research aspect is the most important. So you're looking at that for a couple of weeks really, sourcing the content, etc., sorting the people that can actually provide that content. And then actually investments from a perspective is to use it wisely. If you're an affiliate, you're not going to be able to afford paid search in some ways, but try and find nuances as to areas that you can enter and terms that you can afford to appear on.
For just as a tip in terms of cheap translations, obviously there's lots of translation websites and companies who can do this for you. I've always found universities are really good, the language departments and things like that. 6-pack of beer, bottle of wine goes massive way. They love it. It's an easy job they can do from their house. They don't have to kind of do any commuting, and it's things they're interested or they're interested in language, but that's always kind of a very quick one to get some really kind of high quality translations done at a cheap price.
Okay, if we don't have any more questions, I think we'll wrap it up there. Thank you very much to Fintan and Neil for the presentation.